in the audience and viewers of Channel 3, Metro Department heads, personnel, and members of the council. I want to welcome you to the 2016-2017 Metro Council budget hearings concerning the operational budget. Before we get started, Ms. Caldwell, and I promise we'll get you here right on as quickly as possible. Just have a couple announcements, and I want to make sure that everybody's aware of. One is today is Rosie Hayes' birthday, so we want to congratulate Rosie. And the second thing is that Director Talia and her staff from the Finance Office and from the Office of Management and Budget have been awarded the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award for fiscal year 2015-16. And I understand it's awarded by the Government Finance Officers Association, which presented the award, is the leading association in North America. So we just wanted to congratulate them for their. And I understand that they're submitting their budget in for a repeat. So we'll see how that works. If you want to, Mr. Caldwell, the clerk has an announcement, but if you'd like, you can step on up here on the way while she makes this quick announcement. First one was the trustee, 4 o'clock, Mr. Charlie Caldwell, and Pat Greer, deputy trustee for administration. So, clerk, if you would.
Thank you. Just some quick instructional assistance for our council members. This is the first time we've used our tablets to present you an electronic version of the budget. So I want to just talk to you really quickly about the layout and the format. It will be consistent every day for all the budget hearings. Every day when you come to your tablets, you will have a customized schedule of events for that day. The first item for every budget hearing day will be an attachment of the full FY17 budget book. It is a 750-page document. It is very large. It will consistently be your first item. If you click on the link for that attachment, if you will just be patient with it as it loads 750 pages, it takes about 30 seconds. And shortly thereafter, the entire book will be up for you so you can view it at any time, the full budget book, whether or not the departments presenting that day are there or not. Followed by that will be in chronological order, as the order of the budget schedule for that day will be each department and their budget time. So the look and feel of this, like your council agenda, is going to give you kind of an agenda feel of the budget hearing for the day. So the first one will be 4 o'clock with the department. It will then have the customized excerpts from that budget book available to you, so you don't have to go searching through the 750 page from the first item. So in this case for the trustee, if you click on the links, it will automatically give you the short, condensed version of just their portion of that budget book, and so on for each of the departments. So this will be consistent every day, and then each budget hearing day will be the departments that are in question in chronological order. If you'll just be patient when you hit the loading buttons, everything else should be self-explanatory. And if you have any questions, you can see me or you can see Rosie. Are there any questions? Thanks.
Thanks, I appreciate that. Okay, you have one more announcement, and then I'm sure Mr. Caldwell will be ready to get going. And that is, I just want to make some reminders that don't want anyone's feelings to get hurt here. Members of the Budget and Finance Committee are called upon first once the question queue begins. Since each department is scheduled for a limited amount of time, please be respectful to others and use of time constraints during the hearing so that everyone has the opportunity to ask their questions. Questions should be limited to the budget, operating budget. If you have any personal questions concerning your district or something like that you would like to ask the department head, I would hope that you would either give them the question prior to or see them afterwards, and they'll be glad to help you out. Also, the Finance Department's help desk is here. They are in the committee rooms, and if you have any questions or need any definitions that Mr. Jameson or someone in the table here can't answer, they're here to help you out if you have these long-term questions that require a long-term answer. With that, we want to thank Mr. Charlie Caldwell and his deputy Pat Greer for being here today. Thank you for being so patient with us. And I have one question for you. It's a little different than last year, Ms. Caldwell, and that is, as stewards of taxpayer dollars, members of council have been charged with ensuring the public funds that are used in an effective, efficient manner, delivering maximum service to the citizens of Nashville. If you received a budget increase, we'd like for you just to please present to council how your additional funding will be able to improve the services that you provide the people of Nashville. We want to thank you again for being here, and the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the Budget and Finance Committee. I'm Charlie Caldwell, the Davidson County Trustee. I have with me this afternoon Ms. Pat Greer, who is the Deputy Trustee for Administration. We have asked for an increase of roughly $25,000 to help us better sell the tax relief and tax freeze program for this ensuing year. We prepare a brochure each year that's sent out with all the tax statements throughout Davidson County, but we still feel that we do not touch everyone that might or could qualify for the tax relief program. We're also asking for a $1,700 increase to help us on postage. This coming year, we're going to send out a courtesy reminder in February notifying any taxpayer that had not paid their taxes at that time. We also are asking for $5,000 for the bank fees. Now you can pay your current taxes at the First Tennessee Bank or any First Tennessee banks in Davidson County. We feel like that last year we had roughly 5,000 payments, and we feel like we will have additional payments this year because the taxpayers are made aware that they can pay their current taxes at the bank, at the First Tennessee Bank. That's basically all my increases. I had a few decreases. Internal service charges or fringe benefits were reduced. I have a small increase in the internal services fees, which is basically IT for my department. Also, there is an appropriation that's not in my budget for $3.7 million that is used to pay credits toward the tax relief program in Davidson County. Each dollar that the state of Tennessee pays as a credit, metropolitan government pays $2. So we pay 2 for 1 for any person that's on tax relief. And we started that in 2012, and that's been a great help to a lot of taxpayers in Davidson County. I will be glad to respond to any questions that anyone might have.
Thank you, Mr. Caldwell. And we have, first one is Councilman Pulley.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just briefly, Mr. Caldwell, I noticed that you've increased $25,000 for advertising promotion of the tax relief program. I get a sense that there are many, many people out there who really don't know that this is available, who would qualify for this. Do you think that's enough? And can you expand on how you're, what this increase is doing and how you're reaching out to these people to make sure that they're aware of what is offered in the area of tax relief?
Well, we're hoping we can do some additional work with Channel 3 to get it out to as many people as we can. We're going to look at some type of advertisement, and we'll be working with all the council members in their district to see if we can come to their district and talk to their constituencies about this program. So this is the first year that we've asked for additional funding.
You think this is enough?
Well, I'm not sure, but if it's not, I would hope that we could come back to the council and get additional funding if need to be.
I think it's a very important program for a lot of people, so I just want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to reach those who might have a difficult time finding out this information. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilor Gilmore.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Cotwell, for being here. It's a pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
I had actually a question to follow up on Councilman Pulley's as it related to the tax freeze program. I wanted to know how much of the actual dollars, not the ones that we use for advertisement, but how much do we actually allocate to the seniors that qualify for that, and do we use all of it each year?
Well, we appropriated $3.7 million this current year.
Okay.
We haven't completed the expenditures, but we do still have $800,000 in the appropriation from the $3.6 million.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Very good. And then the second question I had was if you could speak, which I think is very good. You said that the internal service fee went down and that the
Yes, ma'am.
IT. So if you could just explain to us, we always know those fees are an issue, and we want to see what did you do that was so great that allowed you to realize those savings.
Well, we have put in a new tax accounting system that was a savings to metropolitan government. So those costs are passed through to my office from IT.
Thank you.
Sure.
Councilor Henderson. Oh, stand by, went off. Now try.
Thank you, Chair. Trustee Cardwell, you and I had spoken several months ago when I had some questions from constituents regarding veteran tax relief,
Right.
About the issues of the appropriation at the state and how that amount had lessened last year, and thus many of our veterans got less tax relief last year. Can you speak to what the level is at the state and what our constituents will see in that regard? Will their relief come back up to previous levels, or how is that being addressed through your budget and by the state?
The previous year, the legislature had reduced the income level for new veterans. Prior to this current year, there was no income level for veterans. The legislature put a $60,000 limit on any new veterans that would sign up for the program. What they did also, they dropped from $175,000 to $100,000 is what the credit was paid on the value, that first value of the home. What they've done this year, they dropped the income level for all veterans, which will help more veterans, but they did not change the value that we pay them on of $100,000. So there was some relief this year, but not the same relief that we had had previously.
And knowing that, is that something that you have considered addressing through your budget in response to that, or is that just where that stands at the state? We just 2 for 1?
Well, that's what we have recommended.
Okay.
2 for 1.
Okay.
But the change was made, used to we match 1 for 1.
Okay.
But when we had the reappraisal program in 2013, Mayor Carl Dean decided to double that amount to help the people that were on tax relief. So that's been a help since 2013. But we have not looked at it for any future reappraisal.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Cardwell, seeing no others in the queue, want to tell you how much we certainly appreciate you being here, and we thank you so much for implementing the program involving veterans and the tax freeze for lower income. Thank you, and the elderly also. Thank you very much and appreciate all you do.
Thank you, and if anyone has any questions in the future, feel free to contact my office, and we will make ourselves available. Thank you.
Thank you.